Let's start off by telling me a little bit about yourself personally and a little bit about your business and what you do.
Okay, so my name is Chimene Van Gundy, and I'm a mom of 5 kids, 24 to 5. And I'm a wife as well. And my business is Mobile Home Millions. So I fix and flip mobile homes, and I own or finance them out to people. I also teach a course called Mobile Home Millions, where I teach people how to wholesale them and make basically $3,000 to $8,000 on their couch. So it's really, really awesome. Yeah.
That's amazing. Tell me a little bit about where you were before Mobile Home Millions and some of your background.
Okay, so we've talked about this before, right? But basically, my real estate journey happened in 2015, and I was laid off from a corporate job, and I had just married my husband now. We'd not even been married for 2 years, and I just didn't know how I was going to deal with that. I brought 4 kids into the marriage, and then we have one together, and so I really didn't know what I was going to do. And so as you know, Stephanie, I was in and out of foster care. So my childhood was not, it wasn't anything that was solid. There wasn't really a solid background for me. And so I had never heard anybody ever tell me that they had ever believed in me or believed in anything that I could do. And so I went home in a panic, and I fed my kids dinner and got them to bed. And then I just sat on the bed and bawled and told my husband what happened. And he looked at me and said, "I believe in you." And so, I'm 36, right? 36, close to 37. And I'm hearing that for the first time in my life. And so that just made it all the more determining for me. And then I got tired of my ex-husband not being stable either. So I had to rely on his child support payments to feed my kids. And I just got sick of that. And so I was referred by a friend to read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And then I started kind of, doing some background research and found out that they had an independent women's section at that time. And so at that time, I really needed to hear from women. I always tell people, if there was a man that was doing training that weekend, it would have not happened for me. But I went to an introductory course for an hour, and they drew my name out of a hat for a 3-day basic. And so I went over Mother's Day weekend in 2015. That was what I wanted for my Mother's Day present, was my husband to watch the kids, and he did. And I went, and I was so excited and motivated. And in that 3 days, I saw how I could change my life. And they needed $20,000, and I had just been laid off. And so I convinced them to give me 7 days to hold the price. And I came home, and the only thing that I had from my time in foster care from when I was a little girl, from my home, my actual home with my biological family, was this collection of precious moments. And when you're in foster care, they call you a trash bag kid, right? Because you carry a black trash bag with you from every house to house that you go to. So that's what they call trash bag syndrome. So I pulled out all of my precious moments, and I sold them. And I sold some jewelry, and I sold some Thomas Kincaid paintings, and I came up with $17,000. And my husband put in the other three. And I just told him, I was like, "Look, I'll do whatever it takes. Just give me 2 years, and I promise I'll change our life." And he said, "Okay." And so my mentor came out from Rich Dad Education in July. It was the 13th, 14th, and 15th of 2015. And from July 13th to September 24th, I made about $180,000. And then September 25th, our house caught on fire. And so I had to regroup, and it became this, 2-hour drive. Basically 4 hours of my day was transporting my kids to and from school because we were displaced. And so I had to put a lot of my business on hold. But at this time, I already knew I could do it. I had the belief, and I knew that I could do it. And so I needed a way to jumpstart my business. And so I started visiting mobile home dealers. And I found out that for every new mobile home that's purchased, an old one has to be gotten rid of. So in other words, when you sell a new mobile home, you have to sell 2 mobile homes, the old one and the new one. And so I quickly found out that there was a niche there for me. And since I'm a retailer, I only deal in used homes. So I started getting homes sent to me for free. And I began to wholesale those homes, those mobile homes, every month. And the first month we did 5, and the next month I did 10, and now I'm doing 25 to 30. And so I'm making about $5,000 per unit that I wholesale. And I just found a transporter to do it. And that really jump-started my business. And then in 2016, at the end of that November, I was nominated for the Rich Dad Hall of Fame. I was actually nominated to be inducted, and that was the fastest that anybody had ever done it. And then 2017 came along, and my daughter went through some really big trials, and there was some stuff that came to light from her where she had been a victim of a horrific crime. And so I had, it was a really dark time. So she'd come back from an exchange in Japan, and she just went into this huge depression, and then all this stuff came to light. And then I went to 10X conference and found out that Russell Brunson with ClickFunnels was going to be there. And the month before, Bella had told me that she had a plan to take her life, and that Russell saved her life, like ClickFunnels saved her life. And so I paid $30,000 for VIP tickets to go to 10X, and I wasn't there to see anybody but Russell. And I stood in line for 2.5 hours just to get 3 minutes with him to tell him and to thank him for saving my daughter's life. And so that's where I met Melanie and the team, and then they interviewed us, and then they gave us tickets to Funnel Hacking Live in 2017, and it just really changed our life. And then I'm still, over here trying to run my business, because again, at this point in time, in April of 2017, I'd already done 4.2 million. And so what I tell people is April 7th was my day of liberation. It was the day my CPA called me and told me that I had done about $2 million in business. And I was negative $50,000 net worth when I started. And so I tell people that's the day I was liberated, because it's the day I'd never have to depend on my ex-husband to feed my babies again. So that was very powerful for me. It was really a life-changing moment for me, just as a woman. Like, I can finally do this on my own. I don't have to rely on anybody ever to provide for my kids. And the feeling that just the feeling and the respect too, because my kids now know that no matter what happens, mom's going to figure it out. Like, they have me, and mom will always figure it out. And so we joined 2 Comma Club, and then did that, went to Funnel Hacking Live, of course, in 2018. And then, did all this stuff and went in. And then I finally was like, okay, even the little kind of map that they gave us, right, to do all this stuff, I couldn't follow, because you have to at least know how stuff works, right? And I'm not techie. So I'm sitting here trying to feel like, okay, but like, if you don't even know how the background of something works, how can you even build a plan? So I just started asking people, and I was like, okay, I have the money. And I went to San Diego to a CCX event, and finally Stephen Larson and Julie Stillian was like, look, you're at a place that a lot of people aren't, just pay somebody to do it all. And I was like, okay. So then I started asking around, and that's when I was introduced to you and Bryan, and I was like, okay. And boy, was that a leap of faith.
What was your biggest motivational factor for wanting to create Mobile Home Millions and bring it to the online market?
Well, basically, nobody's in the space. So if you look at it, you've got Mobile Home University, but it's not really doing anything. All they're doing is kind of, teaching people how to steal stuff from people. As you know, John Oliver did a whole spinoff on them a couple weeks ago. They're not to who I am. Why I love doing what I'm doing is because I get to give people homes, like beautiful homes, and there's an affordable housing crisis in America. And if Wall Street gets in this market, it's going to destroy it, just like it did apartment complexes. And so I've literally eat and breathed mobile homes for the past 4 years. Like, I can tell you anything about them. And, and I crawl under them. And what I love about them is that I can crawl under them and know to the penny what my rehab cost is going to be. You don't know that with a home, because with a brick and mortar home, because there's all these things that pop up, right? But you know this with mobile homes. And so for me, wholesaling mobile homes, nobody's in the space. Nobody. And nobody's teaching it. So literally, by teaching people how to do this app strategy using apps, you can literally sit on your couch. And when we filmed this, as you remember, I made $8,000 in 4 hours wholesaling one from my couch. And Bella's recording it, right? And then I'm there doing the background stuff with you guys. And then I'm getting dings and I'm showing Bryan, oh, look, free mobile home. Oh, look, there's another one. There's another one. And so it's like living proof that it can happen. And so in 2017, I went to Ireland, and so I found out that they had holiday homes, which is mobile homes in Ireland. And so at the end of 2017, I JV'd with a company doing mobile homes there. And so we're international already, and that was barely 3 years in. So I'm just really excited. I'm excited that this is like, no matter if people are interested in real estate or not, mobile homes, millions doing this course and wholesaling them, which is so easy because they're all around us. It can, help them do what it is their passion is or their dream is. So it's just a vehicle for them.
Love it. So what were some of the struggles that you faced while trying to take your expertise online?
Oh, wow. A lot. Really, and I think I told you this too, the education. People look at them as trailer trash, and they're not. So really, it's re-educating people with the fact that 22 million Americans live in manufactured housing. 4.5 million of those make 6 figures a year or more in income. 10,000 people a day are turning 65 or older for the next 7 years. And 1 out of 3 are selling their brick and mortar homes and purchasing a manufactured house. So there's a huge opportunity right now. And in Europe, it's the same scenario, but 10 years. So they have 10,000 people a day turning 65 and older, but for the next 10 years. So it's this huge opportunity, but really it's just trailer trash. Mobile homes are not sexy. We're trying to make them sexy, and, just the stigma that's attached. But what makes them so great is they are personal property. So there's all these regulations that we don't have to follow because they're personal property. And that's where the gold is. And so it's getting traditional people that are in the real estate space to kind of pivot and think about them in a totally different way.
That's huge. You're right. That was a big one. I remember that. So when would you say things started to turn around for you and become more clear as far as bringing everything online and actually executing it?
Well, I kind of knew that I needed to do it. I wanted to be able to help others. And the only way I was going to be able to do that really was to make a course. And everybody kept asking me. And remember, I was really skeptical. I'm like, there's no way that this man's going to get out of my brain what's in my brain. And then I flew down and we did our first, our first meeting together. And then I have to give a shout out to Dave Vollmer, because Dave Vollmer flew down to me and, down there to do that with Bryan. And he's been a huge motivation and support. So Dave, if you're in our circle, thank you so much. But he flew down and helped me and just basically dissect my brain. And that's kind of when I realized, oh my God, I really think Bryan Dulaney can help me. And so I went on ahead and made the investment, and then, flew down to San Diego. I don't know how many times we did that, right? And then got our course made. And so that's kind of, as this was all, and then during that process, our book, I was in this book called Wealth for Women, Conversations with the Team That Creates the Dream, the top 20 female real estate investors that can get you wealthy in real estate. And each of us had an asset class. And I was highly vetted for that book. We had to show financials and proof. And so the fact that I was in this book and they were recognizing me as an expert in my field was it was like a dream come true for me. And then, and then that book went bestseller in 24 hours, right? And then and then all of the stuff that's happened with you guys. And it's just been crazy. And then, I won the quilt. And so I ended up on Brendan Bouchard with Russell. And that was crazy. And it hasn't been released yet, but that's coming. And so all these things, right? And then Ellen and Jimmy, Jimmy Kimmel show. And I've got all those things coming up. And so it's just crazy.
Love it. So good. So tell us more about your success and how things have been after you've been working with us.
Okay, so April 8th, I did my first webinar. Okay, and so that was really good. And we just submitted for 2 Comma Club yesterday or the day before. And so in less than a month, we have done in revenue $1,050,000. $38.60.
Wow.
And my goal is to get to 10 million in 5 months so I can kick Cash Flow Tactics ass. Love you guys, but I want to set the new record.
Got it. Awesome.
And I put out at Funnel Hacking Live when I saw you guys a few months ago in February that next year I was going to be on that stage. I just willed it. I was like, I'm just putting it out there in the universe that next year I'm talking on the Funnel Hacking Live stage. I got to break some records so I can be up there.
I believe you will. So what were the results you got after your first 4 webinars with us?
It's the 1 million. It's $1,050,038.60.
Amazing. So you have gone through our Funnel Day Intensive.
Yes.
You've gone through our build out phase entirely, and we're actually at the point where we have launched you and we're currently scaling and optimizing you right now in this stage.
Yes.
What are the most exciting moments of this launch of Mobile Home Millions for you?
I'm nervous. Put me on stage and I can talk to 4,000 people and I won't sweat at all, right? But for some reason, doing Facebook Lives and webinars, I am like super nervous and I'm holding these squishies in my hand the entire time I'm talking, right? Just to get out all of my my fear, right? Just my anxiety and my fear. But really for me, it's just, I guess it's getting out of my comfort zone, and there's always good things when you get out of your comfort zone. So it's getting out of my comfort zone to be able to really go and do this. And it's just seeing my students have success. I've already had students within the first 2 weeks that wholesaled mobile homes. So to see that success in the groups has just been amazing. So I think out of all of it, that's it. Just the fact that we get to change people's lives.
So good. Couldn't have said it better. So what are you looking forward to the most next?
Making $10 million. And helping more people get into houses and breaking the record of 10 million in 5 months instead of 7 months.
Perfect. And what would you say to somebody watching this who is in a spot that you're in and they want to go to the next level? What would you say to that person?
Don't ever give up on your dreams. The only person that you can rely on is yourself. So have belief in yourself and rely on yourself. Nobody has more ambition and more tenacity to improve your life than you. So just go do it. No excuses. None.
Beautiful. Love it. Thank you so much, Chimene.